Welcome to our lovely future humans with self-agency, inspiring human potential here and elsewhere as we get some story time from this 5D mystic who's a self-agent and mindful mindset and lifestyle. We have our paid subscriber community. You can find the link below, or if you're tuning in, you can find it on the main page. And in the meantime, since our full moon, I was coining this and I decided that's how I'm going to refer to our lovely collective, and that's because we are future humans. So I found out that I was from the future when I was opened up to clairs, and this was, I don't even remember anymore. My timeline has been such a while. 2005, 2007-ish, first twin flame. Then I got to keep on expanding, and I begin my life with God and Jesus and Holy Spirit. As you'll find out from the book, The Ways to God, I'm a co-author of it, and my chapter is titled God is Discerning, Equanimous Love, which is what he continues to be. So when I channel and download, and when I am in contact, archangels, galactic beings, a lot of lovely stories, what I can say is nothing's confusing. In fact, for ascension days, like the full moon, those of us who are the 5D collective, again, so future humans who are self-agents, we are self-agents. If you don't know what that is, let me tell you. Because of something called the capacity to be in not only control of one's actions and our impact on our own life and other people's lives, but we're actually masters. So we're masters of our water, our emotional stuff, and we're masters of our wind, our thought stuff, and we're masters of our fire, our anger and our passion, and we're masters of our earth, our body and our feet, and then we're master of space for those of us who are channelers, again, and downloaders, the luminous warriors. They're not warriors because war is not holy unless you're living the medieval times, and sex is not a sin unless you're living the medieval times, but we do know of STDs and also the difference between those who are lovers versus the visceral people who are lust, and that's it. Okay, so the ones who don't heal, they think that we're pretend self-agents, humans from the future. That's why they talk about us as if we're in the future, the 3D, 4D collective. On the other hand, we're not from the future, we're already here, and science has explained it to me, which is why I bring to you the attachment trauma education with my stories. So a self-agent, again, it's the ability to make choices, to set goals, and take steps to achieve them. You have a strong sense of self-agency, which leads to increased happiness when you have this, resilience, and a more fulfilling life. And when you are your own beloved, that's why you don't need Patrick Tian or Terry Real. Those are great therapists, or Dr. Daniel Fox, or Dr. Daniel Siegel. So you have an integrated bilateral, vertical, and overall brain, and that's why the mindfulness practices with our daily mindful mindset inner growth exercises, the 3-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute, the spotlights, and the readings, they support those who are self-agents. As you are your authentic self, so being yourself, that's what IHP has always been about, sharing the keys to inner growth, you following your heart as your true self. Now I know that we have fake self people out there, but we are a community of the future humans who are self-agents. Thanks to our ventral vagal state, we have curiosity, and we have healthy self-worth. So mystics, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people who are truly intelligent minds. And we do know that we have implicit, explicit memory biases. They're not influencing us. So our likes and dislikes don't make us say yes or no. They make us know how to use our prefrontal and our gut, and that's with emotions that are mastered by you. So you don't need someone to help you to have thoughts and feelings that go deep, because you're enjoying that. And that's why the mystical shamans, they don't tell you don't go to therapy, or prophets or gurus. The spiritual of today, the mystic of today, now the future human is future because the 4D doesn't know that we're already here, because they don't wield their mystical shaman brain with two sides, and they will say something like this: come to me, I will save you 20 years of therapy. No, you won't. You may work with my energy body. You may work with a lot of things. I'm an Akashic Record reader. I'm a Tarot Oracle card reader. I am with Spiritual Toolkit, Reiki Master for the personal development. Besides our self-empowerment talks on personality development podcast here and everywhere. We're going to have some more live streams, okay? So the circle of life is that you know how to wield the left and the right and all those emotions because you are definitely connected to Pachamama, and you're connected to your own sorcerer because your subconscious and you are one. And the inner child of you is why you rule your own water and you grow your own crops, and therefore abundance continues to rise. You tame your own fire, which means your passion, your anger doesn't. So self-agency, again, it's not a sense of control. You have moved beyond it if you are a self-agent as the future human that we're inspiring human potential here, because the dealing with uncertainty, unwanted, unexpected, and unknowns from an open heart, sharing the keys to inner growth while following your heart, while going with the flow. And so the flow state is achieved by those of you who are, again, here. And so it's beyond the sense of control. Self-agency is fundamentally about feeling like you are the driver of your own life rather than a passenger always, while those who do the dance of the ghost, our 43D brothers and sisters, they need support when they feel uneasy. Why you're feeling uneasy? Why the full moon will have you have this? Why did it? So their curse is that they have emotions, and that's because they're doing karma, which is not good or bad. It's just they're doing their 0-8-year-old. They're codependent, emotionally immature individual, and in fact they will hang out with the same who are depending, learned helplessness, or they have a negative story for you about us being cursed and our ancient ones going to come down and punish us. Okay, so again, with the 4D3D, I knew they would stick around. I just didn't think that they would actually stick around until I saw that they do. And now that I know what an adaptive child looks like, I can also explain it to you. So the self-agent, goal-oriented action, okay, so involves setting goals and taking intentional steps to achieve them. They don't set goals for emotional, mental, and physical resiliency, and therefore they are not saying, I have a body in connection. In fact, what their body screams and their embodied brain, teenager time, teenage boyfriend. Okay, so here we're going to move into how this 5D mystic, mindful mentor, content creator, podcast host has a mindset and a lifestyle because of being a self-agent. One of the downloads that I got when I first began having clairs and astral travel was I come from the future. I talked about it with one of my soul sisters as we laughed together at all this in a good way, meaning we have fun. So if you're not a mystic, woo-woo, pseudoscience, we already know that, but I do love the channeled guidance, the food for thought, the streams of consciousness that come to me and that we've been discussing. I plan on getting you some books. IHP, remember we have some book series, so I plan on getting the channeled guidance and messages. I have them all organized, but also cards. So there's a lot that's going to come. In the meantime, if you become a paid subscriber, that is where I might begin to roll out for the future, the long, long ones, because when I have streams of consciousness that are also guidance for themes, they're amazing. I love what I've offered. You can check out the past ones. We got the golden egg and we got more, but Sadhguru, one moment of absolute gratitude can transform your whole life. You won't have gratitude consistently if you're not in the capacity to have a body that is yours. So your nervous system, if you remember, we talked about the biology of trauma podcast with Dr. Amy. She shares Neuroception Explained, how your nervous system decides what's safe and why it matters for healing. She also shares why people resist healing, and then she also shares another video, why am I not getting better even after years of therapy and healing work, so why you are still in a survival mode. And then she had another video that I didn't watch just yet, but it's about when people are healing with therapists, the ones who go and ask her questions, they say sometimes they will have physical symptoms. And she'll say yes, because the body, which is used to being in protective, is now working with, and I forget the exact explanation, but it's trying to get back into its original state, if you will. And from the mystic woo place, what I can tell you is I got it explained with our cells contracting and expanding. But the trauma charges are being released, as Peter Levine would point out. So they're stored in muscles, bones, and tissue. So they're the body, your body in and of itself, as all somatic therapists and good modern day therapists will know, is healing itself, because the kingdom of God, as Jesus shared with us, is within every person, and that's your opportunity. And your embodied brain this empowered feminine can tell you, yep, that's why the future human, we're here already. We are not going to have to wait for the future. We are self-agents. And so we have gratitude because our life is our life, because we know how to have not only sense of control, but sense of control and mastery. I will be also goal oriented and ensuring that I take myself walking where I want, thinking where I want, feeling with anger, sadness, fear as deeply as I want and not projecting them. Responsibility, definitely. We have taking ownership of our own actions and also the consequences. So we don't endorse mediocrity. In fact, as Ron Siegel points out, when we talk about acceptance, he says, it's very important to talk about the difference between accepting experience as it is arising in our own body and endorsing a certain kind of behavior. Adaptive child part people, the ones who are emotionally immature, they actually think that their behavior is something that we should emulate, which we won't, because they're the same ones who will, with self-righteousness and ego, just... So teenage boyfriend, effective realism. I'm going to use that story. And decision making, resiliency. Okay, so self-agents are able to have all of that. We bounce back from challenges. We don't even consider them challenges and setbacks because really first world problems, anyone? So that's what mental, emotional masters feel like when they're self-agents. And again, I was already there by the time I'm 19 with my teenage boyfriend and stuff that's taken place. And once I got clairs, it was simply different because now we're all an energetic imprint. So I recognize energetic imprints. And in fact, I keep sharing with some of the people that I've realized are in my future. Recently, I got one of them, and that was fascinating because it just hits you. You're like, huh, okay. And empowerment, yes. So we have self-empowerment talks on the Personality Development Podcast here at HP, paid also, and we have TikTok lives. And gratitude is consistently there because our brothers and sisters, 3D, 4D included, will consistently give us the opportunity to create an empowering life. So I feel empowered and I'm a master and I'm bringing forth that which I want to bring forth, which is a solo self that connects to another. So there's a me and a we, as Dr. Daniel Siegel would say, and by differentiating, I recalibrate my nervous system to be that luminous warrior. I'm in my prefrontal and my gut, but I'm healed. I don't have a body that's protecting. I don't scan Maria. And you know, I love myself just the way I am with flaws and imperfections. So if you say to me anything while I'm authentic and I'm looking to build bonding relationships from the heart, I'll stay curious, but I'll also know if I'm building a relationship with a true lover or if I'm building one with a fako. And a fako are those who live out their curse, and their karma is their curse, and their curse is their 0-8-year-old. So they're just going to be the version of themselves that is only a gut, which is why some do lust and not love. That's about monoamory, polyamory, all of it. Okay, so death do part, sickness and in health, for better, for worse. So when someone's cursed and they feel helpless and hopeless, that's a different story. That's not a self-agent, okay? Self-agents, we have mental health. A strong sense of self-agency is linked to better mental health. That's because I own my sense of self. And because I'm an integrated brain and I am embodying that restorative embodiment self, my lifestyle choices are what brought me to it. So yes, good eating, reading good books, knowing the difference between the pseudo-intellectuals. It's why I'm a pseudoscience, not a pseudo-intellectual. Knowing that someone who wants to sell me their dogma, sure, keep talking. I'm going to stare right through you. Somebody wants to tell me they're the only word of God, sure, keep talking. Again, actually, at that point, I'm going to be having to disengage completely because I have a relationship as a mystic and spiritual one in the Enlightenment Soul Age group with God and Source and Akash. And so now I met not a person who is channeling God from their prefrontal, but I got a teenager in the room who's got an amygdala, who's got a trauma charge and or more, and they're not noticing that their heart is closed, that their gut and their little peacock chest is out, and that they're a cocky, insecure human being who just spoke the very words of, I'm the only What? Wow. Don't play God. Yeah, I think that you didn't hear that. But then again, let me again leave it to God to do anything that He wants. He will not be scaring anyone, by the way. So when you hear anyone from our ancestry talking to you about scaring, I know what they're doing, not personal growth or personality development. Self agency allows individuals to pursue personal growth and development by setting and achieving goals. That's what the mentorship is for. But again, that's why when I was growing up, I didn't need any of that. I got to learn how to continue to expand because of owning the sense of self. What I've seen out there is that people say, I want that, I want it now. That's why the 3-minute, 5-minute, and 15-minute are the most practical ways that you're going to integrate it. But it's for, again, those who are actually wanting it. Not everybody wants to be non-reactive because they don't believe that it is their health or that it is their enlightening self, and that's why they're not a self-agent. So when someone is not a self-agent, it's because they don't master their anger. It's a pity because that's the actual part that gets them to then be not so brilliant. But again, success, self-agency, often seen as a key ingredient for success in various aspects of life, including career, relationships, and personal well-being. The personal well-being is what I like to highlight the most because career, check, that's automatic. Relationships, check again, and life as well. Okay, so the future human, like I built only relationships. You don't cut people out of your life. My oversoul, I got at least, no, I have only 3 twin flames, and then I got soulmates, and that's beautiful. Why only? Because every one of us will know what we'll know about our own story, but even here, I don't need to prove it, nor do you prove it. Okay, so when people started to do this thing with the soulmates and the twin flames, and then they created a bunch of lists. Yes, you know who needs a list? A person who wants to know why they're feeling unsettled. So that means they have self-doubt and they have insecurity. And that means that they are, in fact, not in the form of gratitude. Most people in the world are not busy. They are preoccupied, Sadhguru. But they're not only preoccupied with busy work, they're also worried in here because they don't know how to reassure their 1-year-old. When you're a self-agent, that's why you know how to reassure your 1-year-old. When you're an empowered human being and a mystic and you know God and angels, you're triple, quadruple. I'm a lucky person. I have no self-doubt. I have no insecurity. I've never felt uneasy. I've been afraid, yes, with the panic attacks of death, and God keeps reassuring me that I won't die. And I know all the science in the world that continues to tell me how we all, with our daily mindset practices, bring forth the resiliency of that which is what Jesus walked, restorative embodiment, and what a Buddha walked, and what a Sadhguru walks, and what Dr. Daniel Siegel walks. Okay, so our lovely future humans, and I have seen the future because as a downloader, astral traveler, I've seen it on Earth. I was telling the story to some of my loved ones. They're not mystics at all, and in fact to one of them about them being in the council that I saw in my future. And so we're going to pause. I'm going to take you to the beginning. And again, welcome future humans. I'm going to keep on welcoming you because that's what we are. I found out that, 4D don't know we're here yet. So with that, one, you know that the thread to your vessel is your heart, and that a heart that is open to the truth of you as a part of all that is and that gets to share life with a whole self, soul, in relationship with true love. You also understand, let me find this, here it is, that heart will see heart in another, okay? It's really beautiful because we are all from the same home, the same frequency. But the heart that will be open, the heart that will protect itself from those of us who are in eventual energy, they will not acknowledge this. Unfortunately, they will not enjoy the process of what they're creating. So when it doesn't happen the way they wanted, like the twin flame thing, they're going to suffer it, and then they're going to make up stories, and then they're going to tell you about their visions of their ghosts and the curses, and then they're going to give you steps and rituals. Okay, so when you look at Patrick McNamara and his couple of videos where he's interviewed, he explains there's no demonic possession. I learned that from other courses too, but attachment trauma, but he also explains what happens when we're doing religious rituals. Now, this doesn't take away from faith and belief. I just want you to understand how sciences and spirituality here come together, because I'm a grounded in reality person who knows, again, God doesn't get erased from those of us who have a relationship with God, Source, Akash, Anima Mundi. When you see Source in others, you don't automatically get rid of anything. There's a saying, I was reading it, let me see, where is it? You will want to understand that working through what comes up is how you're able to forgive. So sometimes our conversations go less. Okay, so seeing Source in others frees you up from the curses, karma, chains of your past, your ancestors, and all that transcends transgenerational trauma charges that come with them through our consciousness. Okay, so yeah, the rituals, they work parts of the brain, but what I'm trying to bring to you is you don't actually process the trauma charges because you haven't taken ownership. A self-agent will take ownership. Again, I will take ownership of all of that which is mine and the consequences in the absence of projecting shame, blame, fault, revenge, humiliation, or any of that which insecure people. So I don't need to shame anyone, because anyone who will not be a mature human being will be a person who has insecurities that needs a therapist. So if they talk to me about the ancient ones wanting to punish every human, I just know they need Patrick Tan. Their faith in humanity was broken, and now they're projecting some story around, and that's because I'm a human and I know all about the amazing potential every human being has, thanks to future humans who are self-agents like myself. Okay, so I'm a teenager. Teenage boyfriend is in this effective realism thing, which means when someone believes their thoughts and feelings are facts. And remember, our brain works with our body. Okay, so you will still be a person with opinions, just the intelligent minds. We don't rule with our implicit, explicit memory, our biases, our charges, and our imagination, so downloads or anything like that. And so again, the gratitude that stems from us because we are welcoming ourselves with flaws and imperfections, and therefore our lifestyle is where we will hang out with people who are not mediocre, know when we're around people who are, also know when we're around smart people, and know when we're around those who are spiritual bypassers, savior complex, and again, an ego that doesn't realize you can't know everything. Nobody does. And that if you're upset at life, that means your body doesn't know how to handle emotions well, and maybe you want to check out the Biology of Trauma podcast with Dr. Amy, because even after years of healing from with therapy, the body can still have stuff coming up. Okay, so it is a long journey. The ones who do it, they join us here at IHP at some point, shape, or form, because they're curious, they're with a community of self-agents, and they enjoy the ascension days, and they enjoy also being around those of us who know what life is made of and how we want to bring the future as we have been doing, which is you don't heal trauma with people who are negative, who are stupid, ignorant, and who have unhealthy self-soothing and self-worth. And the ones who demonize and dehumanize our brothers and sisters, again, they don't know that they are also in need of getting support, because their amygdala is ruling them, and the fact that they don't know Patrick McNamara neuroscience, no, they don't believe in it, is a different story. So if you have cherishable beliefs, let me read to you the whole Sam Harris quote. If your beliefs are not falsifiable, if there's no scenario that could convince you that your most cherished opinions are in error, then that's proof that you didn't get them by being in contact with reality. So teenage boyfriend and I are having our first big argument, I think, and it's really more about, he's telling me that I only have faith in God because I'm afraid of death, and I'm like, no, I believe because I feel it in my bones. And he is in this effective realism again. Let me powerful emotions feel like irrefutable facts. Kristen Lindquist. So you can look her up, as she's the one who explains it, and then you can understand that adaptive child part people or in their brainstem, they're using a left mode, they're in a safety behavior, biologically rude, and they're already defending their position when nobody actually is attacking them. So Terry Real calls it a losing strategy, but he also shares no one is nonsensical to themselves. everybody will always make sense to their own self. And in our relationships, as he points out, we are going to have subjective experiences. So objective reality doesn't take place within the intimacy of any relationship, which is why I love when Gary Vee says soft skills, compassion, kindness, and empathy are the hard skills in business. True leadership are those who have compassion, they have kindness and empathy. They have kind firmness, not cocky assholishness. So anytime you got a person who is in their ego, you'll notice because they don't like the facts. There's a very specific way they will wield their mouths, and then there's a very specific energy. It's a small one. As weak people, that's what it is when a person's using their modulated, dysregulated. They are weak, they're strong. No, they're only strong if they're big for a person like me, but their ego and their self. But remember, please, to have humility. Thank you, Peter Levine. As trauma memory stored in muscles, bones, and tissues, and thank you, Pat Ogden, trauma time gets to come out and play the unfortunate ghost dance of the cursed human being who is a codependent, who needs not to keep talking about what they think they know, spiritual bypassers, savior complex people, about the ancient ones coming to punish us and whatnot, and us being cursed as a species and creating all the shitty movies they do. They could go and heal that ignorant brainstem that served the purpose as a child, the genetic stuff that Robert Sapolsky in his book Determined talks about, or at least in an interview. So your prefrontal is able to continue to adapt to external, but the first 3 years of your life and that brainstem, or anyways, what is, and I might use it wrong, the word, so remember, because I take courses, but I confuse the explanations. However, the part of it being reactive is what I'm really trying to get you to understand, and that's where instinctive, reactive, and that's why the biology of trauma with Dr. Amy, the podcast, as she says, you will be dealing with everything from how your body will have organized itself. And Janina Fisher points that out too. In fact, let me read her because she'll do a way better job at explaining it. Again, that's why 4D talked about us as future humans, and it's great to be here with all of you future humans who are not feeling unsettled, because we know exactly where we're headed. We're headed to tomorrow. And luckily for us, we have a bunch more self-agents who are successful entrepreneurs and content creators and also podcast hosts, and more than just that. When the world is unsafe, remembering one's body and emotions means that we experience all subsequent worlds as unsafe. Our nervous system adapts to a dangerous world. Janina Fisher. When, on the other hand, your body is safe and you are safe to be yourself, you're not adapting to a dangerous world. You're adapting to a world where you deal with uncertainties, unexpecteds, and unwanteds from within you, like the main modules of the Inner Growth Program, with an open heart while going with the flow. And as I was already there again as a teenager, so I'm not a codependent person. I don't have low self-esteem. I'm not passive-aggressive. I don't manipulate. We all manipulate, but not in a way of manipulating like I'm gonna do enough to be saluted with the unhealthy self-worth. We all manipulate because we'll all use words and we'll look to ensure that we can tangle, which is where curious, open, accepting, and loving people are the ones who are going to have a good time with this, because we know what the truth is. The truth is that we have finally what is a lot of anima mundi. We have a lovely little pot. Thanks to the internet, we all come together and we can all share together and have fun with science and spirituality at IHP. I do. And so our guides, yes, we have intuition, values, and nervous system. Number one, nervous system. If you don't use it with the body in connection, you want to go get it in tune, because you got a mama wound. The feminine, the empowered feminine, when you have a body in connection, is how I'm going to bring it to you. Because the emotional plane, okay, so the feminine is all about that emotional stuff, and you get to become an empowered feminine when you have the body that is in connection, which your body's headed there anyways. Then we have the stupid masculine by himself, the left mode, because that's the narratives that keep people in suffering. But we have the smart, empowered masculine, and therefore we have no father wound, okay? And they have, the empowered masculine has a different frequency. But again, so protector, when I got to describe in the launch party with the lovely co-authors what God is like, I said protector. the true masculine energetic imprint, and I'm trying to describe it because they're different. And I know that in the clip I gave an image too, and I know some people are going to say that that's a stereotype, and then there's those who want to just use one of the energetic imprints and say God's a woman, God's a man. I mean, this is hilarious. They don't know how to bring it all in, because they also seem to forget how many years we've been having story time, and that we've been tapped into consciousness, being able to share stories. When people say they wish they didn't have words, I'm like, wow, you don't want words? That added a layer. Because I mean, I know everything I'm feeling and sensing now, but that's with a body that is empowered, which is why I'm a star baby, and so are you. Okay, so self-agents are star babies. We don't feel that it's wrong. I'm a teenager, my BFFF. I thought you were a snob, Maria, when I first met you. I'm not, I'm just confident. Now I know that. Oh, cool. And then she's the same BFFF who, well, only BFFF, who kissed my boyfriend after 3 years. Okay, so with the boyfriend, we're getting into our first discussion. I'm a eternal child, functional child adult already, although I matured, obviously, because self-agency is what you will lead with when you master anger. Bonding, you master sadness, and certainty, you master fear. I've mastered fear thanks to the panic attacks, and that's where, when you have Kundalini awakenings, I got 2. I have 3 twin flames, and then I got lovely soulmates, and I got a bunch more stories, but I knew that I was mastering finally my physical plane once I got to twin flame 3, and once other stuff that right now I need to go grab my timelines. But the orphaned people, the ones who don't go to Patrick Tiahan, they have a very low frequency because they don't know how to use their prefrontal cortex, because codependent types, they have low self-esteem, passive-aggressive, they manipulate, indirect communication, control, boundary problems, because the pushy ones want to change others. They need to suggest, they're self-important, they're martyrs, superiors, and they're going to take over and do. The caretakers let go, meaning they just think of themselves as the nice guy or the nice gal, and then they flip a switch on you. Yeah, that's not flipping a switch, is that they go in not only structural dissociation, but they're in the victim group, the self-blame, and then they're going to say, but I gave you everything, how dare you? I mean, it's not funny when you see it. People please, focus on others, need to be needed. And so this, thank you, Patrick Tiahan, he has a codependency types little graph. When you have a self-agent in town, we don't do any of this. So my teenage boyfriend and I were arguing about this thing where he doesn't have faith. It's like, why are you even bothering being in the space of a person who does? And masculines, when they're empowered, as I was describing God's energetic imprint, it's protective, it's discerning. The word God is discerning, equanimous love, as my chapter in the book, The Ways to God, that I'm a co-author of. Represents exactly how I perceived as I was a child. Obviously with Maria's child energy, that's where it was and continues to be comforting, but it was comforting in a protective way. So imagine you have I don't have children, but I can see children like out there, right? Imagine you have a 3-year-old, then imagine you have a 5-year-old, and then imagine you having, because you're a self-agent, a great sense of self-awareness of the sense of self, and you own it, and now you own all your child parts. Okay, so my teenager is a teenage version, an emotionally 16-year-old, which you can tell as you get older, and if you're the owner of all of it, and you're not living your ancestor, meaning you're 3-year-old on a wheelhouse, okay? And so mindfulness with mindset supports you to continuously have one moment, not only one moment, consistently looking to be in a state of gratitude. And it will be kind intention, and you're in awareness, maximum uncertainty, and you're not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I've never been afraid because I got God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, and then I moved into becoming a mystic. So Future Human was one of the first downloads that I also got, and as I laughed with my girlfriend about it, we were like, yep, because I'm astral traveling, I'm knowing my oversoul, I'm getting all these different parts of me, the way that the 4D talks about it. I just talk about it as, yeah, I know a lot of different timelines. It's really cool. And it's not confusing. And teenager, boyfriend, I don't have any of this going on. I just know it's very simple. You choose to stay open-hearted, kind, or not. my catechist. They taught me, you don't play God. God made you the way that you're meant to be made. So by the time I'm meeting these backstabbing teenagers, I just know that people are not able to know that their beliefs can be falsifiable. So they're not grounded in reality, egos. Okay, so the effective realism of this boyfriend at the time was that I only believed because I'm afraid of death, and I said no, and that was an explicit memory, meaning what I'm sharing right now, and I'm like, yep, I'm not going to do this ever again to try and prove it. And then as I saw 4D saying we have to prove spirituality, I'm like, prove what to whom? Scientists don't have to believe in spiritual people. We don't deny science because of it explaining that there's no demons inside the bodies of our loved ones. It actually is a contradiction to tell me that you're going to see source in everyone and forgive them, but then when you get the explanation of nobody has a demon inside of them, but basically they got trauma charges, you're going to say no. When you get adaptive child part people, they're self-preserving, they're insecure, they want a group, and they want pats on the back. They have a narrative. That same narrative keeps them in that land of suffering and in a land of helplessness or motivation with a low frequency, the low frequency of that which is in fact a visceral. So when you find out that people can be hooked on drama, I was not surprised, because that's actually something that I've seen. I've seen the ones who they will seek mediocrity and they will be mediocre and they will consistently want to create chaos because that's what their body is used to. So that's a side note. People who have insecure guts are going to not really complete much, but whatever they complete is going to be done from a place that is of ignorance. Ignorance doesn't win in any way, shape, or form, because only knowledge can win, since that's what consistently brings our species to move forth. Okay, so anyways, as a teenager, I'm already very aware, mindful, and reading philosophers, and I'm definitely into emotional maturing, and it's very much something that I don't find, like, give me a Medal of Honor for crying and getting angry. Okay, so I learned how to use my brain better when I noticed that I was getting very angry as I'd come home from college. So the boyfriend and I would break up, and he continued to just show me what cowards do. So did all these other teenagers. And now that I'm attachment trauma informed, what I can tell you is that people who don't know how to say the truth, they don't become grown-ups. People who do, I got to hear a very beautiful story. They get to free themselves and realize, wow, I just thought it was a big deal and everybody's going to make me feel ashamed of what was happening. And so it was one of those childhood wounds, if you will, concerns, self-doubt. And his therapist said, look, this thing that you're telling me, you might want to try addressing it with all of the people. And so taking off that mask. And he in fact shared he felt liberated, which is what makes sense. I don't hide feelings. So I don't know what it's like to be afraid to say, yeah, hey, I failed, I did this, I did that. So self-agent again is this, the ones who are wanting us to praise them for feeling life so uncertain, so hard, and so, again, they make me see the child who is still seeking for that which is God to protect us and keep us safe, or tell me that I'm more special than the other children. The energy is what I'm trying to describe to you is not one of a self-agent. So they talk of the future humans that are already here in this way, our 4D, 3D collective brothers and sisters. Again, I'm integrating different stories here. And the lifestyle that they choose, they're usually extremes, like, they go all vegan or all, yoga, or all or nothing is anyone who's not moving into self-agency, but instead they're just moving into one of the groups. So I'm not falling for that kind of bullshit, because I like learning, and my mother taught me what manipulative grown-ups look like and what to do. Go to her. and then to stand up and be proper, which I still do. But now I'm a grown-up, so I don't need her. And whenever I'm meeting anybody who's a grown-up, who's an asshole, quote unquote, I can be an asshole. I don't give a shit. I mean, I do give a shit. And if your feelings are hurt, I'll say I'm so sorry. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not ashamed of Maria. So if somebody wants to look down, I'm like, sure. Look up. No, come down. We're equals. So please. Even if they're mediocre, it doesn't matter, because again, I won't be doing the thing of I'm better than you. Those are insecure people. They also don't know God. If you did, then you'd know how to have humility consistently, because it's a frequency, energetic frequency of humility. I know it. Like I know why I'm humbled when I bring Peter Levine into the room with science versus if I'm just thinking of a person's adaptive child mannerisms. If I'm just thinking of the behavior of a person in a low frequency, I could begin to get just as pissy and egoic as that other. If I bring in Peter Levine, I remember, wow, muscles, bones, and tissues store trauma charges. Wow, Pat Ogden, trauma time on a wheelhouse. They didn't metabolize it. Wow, Janine Fisher, they're in an unsafe world. Shit. Oh my gosh, Bezel Vanderkolk, you're right. If they don't know that they need to get out of the brainstem. So I can at least bring it out, even out the plane, then remember, oh, look, that they're still treating you like a little piece of shit. You don't owe them anything, so you can just be at ease. We know they're not demons or monsters. They're just upset children who are creating a bunch of bullshit, and so there's that explanation today. As a grown woman, I can tell you, again, no person out there that I've met so far who's in the 1 to 22 Michael Stone evil forensic criminologist scale is a threat to me. And then when I find the 7 to 14 charming, I see that they follow each other around and they act like interestingly mediocre, not intelligent minds. And that's spiritual bypass or savior complex. And again, more. But I did know that they were going to stick around. So they're settling in, 4D settling into what they're bringing to the table, 3D too, 5D also, which is why the future human thing. And as we are here with self-agency, inspiring human potential, I'm now 20, so teenage boyfriend simply showed me what cowards do, and he didn't know what death departs, sickness and in health meant the way that I know it, which is you actually show up, and that's as a self-agent though, and that's as an emotionally mature, mentally mature human being who's consistently expanding. Otherwise you're not really here. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's that people who do not move out of stagnation, they become these stale, stagnating pieces of energy because their nervous system doesn't know how to be thriving. They didn't move into the body in connection. They didn't move into self-agency. So that energy, again, is small because of the capacity for a person to not know how to navigate their nervous system. And give me 1 minute. That's better. A little bit of light. And as we conclude our stories, the lifestyle, not many changes because I have consistently maintained healthy lifestyle. The mindset consistently with the inner growth one that we use with our paid content and on the website, the blog, and other places. But so the teenage boyfriends stay the same type of person. They have their life partner, and they're still talking about humanity the same way they were when they were teenagers. And that's what's not fascinating when I meet people who get older and they just carry on with their narratives. And the small energy is that people who talk to you about you losing people as you raise your frequency, it sounds more like you don't know how to effectively communicate to people who are different from you, as Michael Yapko points out, and therefore you don't know that you're suffering still your inner child, and you're actually just looking for a group of people to take your side, and you're not going to bring forth all of that self-agency because you don't know how to handle your anger like a grown-up. You don't know how to bond with sadness and how if there's splinters or ruptures you can make up. You also don't know how to handle fear because of course we all are afraid. I know I'm afraid for the environment too, but I don't get anxious or preoccupied in that way because I have to know that the smart will know, because one, there's 8 billion people of us, and we're going to consistently continue to bring forth our A game because that's what the intelligent minds do. So the ones who create fear-mongering messages, the ones who are like the flat earthers, to me, they just waste time. The people who are not wasting their time are actively, one, self-agents, and again, future humans. They're not afraid of AI. They're not afraid of where we're at. They're not afraid in a way of being negative. Like Albert Einstein points out, stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. So they don't know that the truth, the land of truth, is neutrality and duality. To be a blank slate, while you do have your implicit, explicit memory and all that other stuff, but that you can keep it here. So true spirituality people, we live a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. I learned this from lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel. Again, we have empowered feminine, no mama wound. We have empowered masculine, no papa wound. We're star babies because everyone can be. We are functional child adults. And as I grew up, what I got to find out is poor orphans, but those poor orphans, you better bet that they don't think about their self-preserving attitude. So when somebody is not noticing that they're bringing to me a fako, I'm going to notice it because of who they surround themselves with. I'm going to be curious, open, accepting, and loving because I don't need to reject anyone. Because I don't need to reject an insecure human being. I'm not going to adapt their maladaptive patterns of behavior, not treating them in a way of piece of shit and not doing the bullshit that they're doing. And that's why it's a commitment to yourself that you make first of all, otherwise you can't commit to another person, but it's common sense and common courtesy. And so self-agency, to me, I didn't realize why it's so hard for people to be their self. Now I realize why it's so hard for people to be their self and to be self-agents and to commit to life. And from a mystic perspective, I just know that mystics, spiritual, so Sadhguru, I quote him a lot, but then I explain to you because, I mean, his quotes don't mean anything if you don't have a body, a nervous system that you know how to handle in connection and that you want to stay in. And if you don't get there, then that's your first goal. Your first goal will be, I want to be able to learn how to use my non-reactive use stress, my E state. My body will benefit, but also your child parts deserve it to become owned by you. And then to be uncharged, and for you to be able to honor yourself and then say, I want to do the rest, Maria. I want to do personal development, self-help. One, it's self-agency, self-help. Two, you don't have to do anything, but please don't whine about it. I mean, wow. Okay, so you can honor your child parts and then become the prefrontal cortex, but if you don't keep moving forward with it, then what kind of a human of the future are you? So that's not for you. But I do come from the future, as I mentioned, obviously with the awareness that I can't prove it. But yeah, I come from the future. The first download of it's my human makeup, which is why I can, connect to Akash Source and God. And I didn't lose God or Jesus or change any of the stories. No, angels are still there, archangels. I got to meet galactic beings. I have guides and plenty of stories for you. What I have is a future husband. And I got to meet also someone else who's in our future. And I even recently got to find out who's also in my future. This is even more future Maria. Like, I won't be here at all. But what's fun about when you're just having a good time as yourself and growing more of loved ones and expanding is that you get to be surrounded by family and friends and people who are also doing the work to become the best version of themselves. Then you feel bad for the ones who have balls and chains next to each other. But you can't really feel bad because, again, they are dancing to the dance of their ghost. And they're saying that us humans are a curse, and they are actually a threat when you go and watch the movies that they create and the bullshit dramatic scenarios that they create. So I don't feel bad for the ones who do karma. I'm also not afraid of them because when they tell me the ancient ones want to crap on us and hurt us and basically calm in their wrath, I'm like, wow. Ancient textbooks, human suffering from childhood trauma, they really don't know what happens with the masses because have they understood how the masses work, they would have noticed where they're at. I think that we're good because smart people, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, the future humans, again, there's a reason why we're not afraid, and I'm not afraid anymore. Thank you, Home Alone, because what I would have done when I see the man is say, hey, so my brother told me that so I'm wondering, is it true that you did this thing, blah, 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 and that's what I would have done. I wouldn't have ran off because now I'm curious. I want to know if my brother told me the truth. Also, I would have thought immediately, that's an asshole brother. He might be lying to me. I don't trust my brother if he's yelling at me like that. Okay, so when you have self-agency, and you notice behavior, you don't be like, oh, I believe everything that's coming out of his mouth, especially as he's being an asshole. No, number one. Number two, I would also be curious to find out if it's true or not. And so some of us are not afraid to ask questions because we're self-agents. And when people say, why are you asking all those questions? Don't you know it's rude? No, actually, it's not rude. Grown up knows how to ask all questions. And I was a child and I'm curious. I still ask questions, and only you think it's inappropriate. If a person doesn't know how to say, I don't want to answer you, then that's on them, not on me, to actually be worried about me asking a question. Self-agents, future humans, don't have egos that are small. We just have egos. We have a self. And it's, you don't know how to tell me you don't like something. I didn't understand that you'd stay a child the rest of your life. You don't know how to just tell it like how it is. Oh, I can tell you how it is, also with the emotions. And I can tell it without, no, it's always emotions first. Sorry, no, there's no actual absence of emotions, but I'm a mature one. So ventral-vagal state, again, eustress, is really fun to have the mature emotions and to be able to speak your mind. Teenage boyfriend, fourth time, I said, I know what you did. He didn't admit it. I said, I know. A month later, I see him holding hand in hand and he runs after me. And I said, I told you. No, it just happened. Sure it did. Again, really, I mean, I don't do shit with liars. Like, it's completely mediocre. And as I got older, now I just have attachment trauma who's humbled me. Because again, science humbles a spiritual one because God made it clear, don't blame me, and you respect all your brothers and sisters and all the grown-ups, and you're not cursed. I gave you the kingdom of God, and yes, thank you, Jesus. We know we have it. It's within you. So when you get to be your self-agent, the future human, come on over, inspiring human potential. It's great. We're 5D mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people who get to be our true selves while changing. A little bit of lighting up. Wait for it. There we go. Look. Okay. So we will be back with more. Thanks for stopping by. You can like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And you can become a paid subscriber if you're inclined to do 3-minute, 5-minute, and 15-minute mindset exercises. Some have spotlights and some have readings and some have the exercises, but it's food for thought where we look at thoughts and emotions because you are a self-agent who handles with a body in connection that which comes forth. So you're creating the resiliency. You're creating the actions around how to expand. You are enjoying your sense of self. You're enjoying building your relationships, which is what has taken place in my lifetime. So I don't look to the past and say, wow, I lived a shitty life. No, I'm like, wow, I live an amazing life. And as I shared my counsel with all my friends, they're like, wow, they laughed at the little octopus who did blah, blah, blah. I was like, I know, isn't it funny? I'm sure he said, save the water, please. And I said, we are trying, but you know, people don't believe in climate change and all that other stuff. They're making up a bunch of excuses. So we're trying. And tree with the rock, don't worry. I got another, he's like an ogre, which is a tree rock person. And he's like, please, Maria, highlight the earth a little bit more. I'm like, I will do my best. Fairies also are there. Angels were there, yes, and future were there. So I told one of the person, I was like, I think you're the future human being man next to me, but I'm not sure. But definitely there's an energetic imprint that you must be related because, you know, some of us, again, are future humans, and that's a future human for you. Others are earth babies. They're amazing too. So are star babies. I'm a star baby. I'm definitely from the cosmos. You know what you'll know when you meet 4D? They forget sometimes that there's 5 elements. We got earth, water, air, and food. Earth, water, air, fire, excuse me. Yes, and space, Akash. I'm an Akashic record reader, and it's the cosmos. When I was opened up to it, it was thanks to one of my twin flames, and I was like, wow. Oh my gosh. And I shared the experience, but it never got heard. But I still remember the day because it was a beautiful, like when you go and watch those stars on TV where they're telling you about the universe. And then when I got my LBLT, I was like, wow, I am definitely an empowered feminine because, you know, for me, Maria, but I also have my own empowered masculine. But I'm like the cosmos. So, you know, just imagine the starry sky is really fun. Consciousness embodied is what I should say, what I could say. But in the meantime, let's stay focused. So be yourself. It's amazing. Come join the self-agent future human community, inspiring human potential with curiosity. As mystic, spiritual, mindfully living, loving people, I will bring to you more messages. Maybe we'll have some late HP show. In the meantime, thanks again for stopping by. Have a good one.